Hello, beautiful people. Oh, I'm Sarah Evangeline. I'm so glad you're here. I just spent the last half an hour down at my beach, walking the shoreline, doing some journaling, centering my heart, and I'm still in shock that this is my reality, if I'm really honest. This time last year, I was putting in intentional energy and I had a vision of this place. So this time last year I was calling this place in. I've had big moments this week of wow, like just honoring that version of me that wanted something better and keeping the promise to her is huge. Some of you here in this space, you have desires, you have a soul calling, you have an inner knowing within you that you're made for something more. You know it. You know it. It is like if you were to really, really center and tune in, even if you don't know how, even if you're in the most chaotic like experience right now, even if you're feeling so stuck, so maybe you can't get still, but if you were to go for a drive and put on your favorite tune, if you were to go and like have a shower and actually be present with yourself or turn on a music and start dancing, you would just know. It's like, oh, you just let that glimmer in, and then I want you to hold on to it. And it's like, what is it showing you? What is it showing you? So often, people get caught up in, well, how am I going to get it all figured out? I need to know the next 10,000 steps or 6 steps before I take the first one. And then you get in this area where you just make no decisions, you make no steps forward. And I call that like the lukewarm, the sitting on the fence of your life. And then people end up waiting years. They end up waiting years and they tell themselves, I'll do it one day. I'll listen one day. I'll make a decision one day. I have to wait until I'm ready. Where I am in my life was not because I felt fully ready. I definitely got into a space where in the moment I could have had massive chaos happening around me, a lot of things unfolding that felt out of my control. And what I would do is in the moment, I would definitely align with myself and I would make that decision of, okay, I'm making this sacred decision out of the future self that doesn't want to be in this circumstance anymore. And then guess what? Yeah, I would make that decision and then sometimes I would be absolutely terrified. But the ones that live out their soul talk understand this. We do things terrified. Now, as you get more comfortable with the unknown, because what this entails is you building an intimate relationship with the unknown. We are not supposed to do someone else's way. There's some of you that feel so stuck in a structure, in a box, because you were never supposed to do that. Like if I ever feel really exhausted in what I'm creating and it's like, oh, I just need a break, which is normal, it's human. I tell myself, Sarah, if you were to ever go back to a 9-to-5 job, it would suffocate you. You would be bored in 6 months, right? Like I get bored because I'm not meant to stay in those structures. Some of them have been temporary stepping stones that I'm very grateful for. They were training ground for me. I've worked in all different sectors. I've worked in hospitals. I've worked in group homes. I've worked for an engineering company. I've worked as a counselor for adults who have disabilities. I've worked in such a wide range that all of it gave me stepping stones to be able to serve people, and also to understand myself. So wherever you are, it's not wasted. Wherever you are, you're exactly where you need to be. And also, what is your next step? There's this beautiful, beautiful gift that you have of choosing again. Choosing again. Like 2 days ago, you might have made a decision because at that time, it was what felt best. But maybe you were playing it safe, maybe you were delaying. Today, what is the decision that you want to make from your heart? And maybe you're saying, well, like, I don't even know if it's fear or intuition. I don't know. You have to start to give yourself permission to play in the game with your soul, to be playful, to give yourself permission that you cannot get it wrong. And I know that's really hard because people who want to live out their soul talk, more often than none, you were the ones that were the misfits. You had trauma, you had childhood pain that happened behind closed doors in your home. maybe even religious abuse. So, you've learned to mask and you've learned to doubt the very part of you that you're here to trust the most. And that's what I help guide you in your Soul Talk embodiment method, which it's an experience, it's a movement, it's not a program. It starts June 11th, and I'm only taking 10 people. And if this is your heart, if this is speaking to you and this is resonating and you want to have support and you want to be held, and then you also want to be able to fully know how to ignite this part of you, come join. It is going to be the most epic experience, but also you're held in safety. You get both, but you're being guided to trust that part of you that was full of doubt. And it comes down to a really big pillar is our worthiness, right? Like if we grew up in an atmosphere where our worth was not validated, and maybe you believe right now, I'm not good enough, I'm not enough, I don't deserve good things to happen to me, and maybe there's some like scarcity and lack of I'll never have enough woven in there, right? It comes down to worthiness, and that's why a lot of people delay too, and it's so valid. It honestly is. I lived in that too. And also, like, that's where it's like, if you want to shift that, make the decision from the sacred place of, I might not know what it's like to not live in this lack of worthiness, but I'm going to make the decision of, from my higher self, from a higher perspective of a decision, a choice that I'm choosing to learn that I am worthy. And from this moment on, I'm going to embody that every single day. I'm going to work on it 1% more every day. And you will be a different person 6 months from now. And it's not a different person outside of you that you're chasing. It's an uncovering of who you've always been, finding out who you are underneath all the pain and the shame and the masks and the filters that you've put on to hold yourself back from getting hurt. And that's the thing, is you might be with a partner right now where it's suffocating you and you're holding the ship for two people. And if you were to reflect back on it, did you enter that relationship because you were overgiving and overcompensating and you don't actually feel safe? That's really important to acknowledge. And it doesn't mean that that relationship is wasted. It doesn't mean that you need to run, but it means that something needs to shift so that you know that you're worthy of receiving love fully. That is another key element of this, is relearning love. I am here to relearn love for myself, for my inner child that did not have that. I had to give up love in order to be loved. And then you believe you're unlovable. It's the most awful pit, and you feel so disconnected from yourself. And now where I am in life, where I'm connected to myself, and I live a life where I'm present, and I can also make bold moves and, put myself out there in new ways that would have scared me and held myself back, while also, actually enjoying breakfast. Like I just had 5 cardinals fly by, and like this is such a magical place. And myself, even just 2 years ago, especially 5 years ago, never would have thought that this is possible. And I didn't get into this physical home on the beach overnight. And the longer that you delay, the longer that this takes to get there. And I'm not trying to panic you. I'm trying to show you that you get to create love on earth. You get to create the love that was not given to you. You get to give that to yourself now. So this actually started 8 years ago with a very terrifying decision to say no to what my family wanted me to do. I left the church, I left pastor school, because there was something in my intuition saying, this is not for me. Sorry, I got cut off there. So I just want to say, it might just feel like a glimmer right now, and it might terrify you. And then your mind wants to go into the logical, well, how will I make this work? And it's because it's trying to protect you and keep you safe, which is incredibly valid. And you definitely want to make sure you trust and feel somewhat safe, but also know it is going to bring up some unknown fears. And that's how you know you're doing it right. And what we do is we run into the fear And then as you run into the fear and you make that bold decision, you actually meet a version of yourself. Okay, I want you to know this. I want you to hear this. You meet a version of yourself that got hidden and dimmed and suppressed, and you learn to doubt and trust that. You learn to doubt instead of trust that part of you way back here. It might have been decades ago. And so you wake that part of you up. That's why it's the soul talk. You wake that part of you up, where that's why when some people decide to work with me, they have shifts even before their first session, because that decision alone uncovers a version of them. And so I love this space so much, and this experience is going to be so transformational, because you're not only going to just be held in safety and unlearn some unworthiness patterns over here, you're also going to be held over here, and I'm going to be empowering you, and you're going to feel so empowered and bold and worthy to live visible, to trust this part of you, and you're going to make different decisions. You're going to want to put yourself out there. You're going to want to like start that business or start dating and allow in a healthy man and receive something, or a healthy partner. Or maybe it is, you know, you're finally going to ask for that promotion at work, or you're going to show up for your family better. When we are tuned into our soul talk, we live in alignment. And not living in alignment will feel like an emotional roller coaster that you're like, oh, maybe one day it'll leave. Maybe one day it'll get better. But it starts with you and that decision you make at the starting line. And it's okay if you're there. It's okay if you've been trying for a really long time. It's okay if maybe you have done some of this work with me already or someone else, and then it's like, it feels like a new beginning. You're not going backwards. This has been the beginning that you've needed all along. And do you want to be supported and held? I really want you to make this decision from a sacred place. I want you to let me know if you have any questions. Your Soul Talk Embodiment Movement is a 6-month experience, weekly trainings, weekly hotspots, and also I'm giving you access to me on Telegram, where I'm going to be sharing like really tangible, bite-sized pieces daily, weekly, for you to move the needle forward and for you to feel so supported, held. I want to be your biggest cheerleader. There might be people that are doubting you. There might be family conflict that, you know, doesn't want you to risk anything, but the Soul Talk method is really about you tuning into you, coming home to you. It's a revolution. It's not a program. It's a revolution. It's a coming home. And this is a container that a lot of you have been craving your entire life. And to provide this for you, like, I'll give the container, you get to bring your voice, you get to bring your expression, you get to bring all the parts of you that have been hidden to rise and claim and to sit in safety in your skin, and then also live in your soul talk, live in the embodiment. And that is what you need to live a life that's fulfilled, full of joy, full of healthy, radiant love, and you deserve it. So we start June 11th. Now is the time to sign up. Send me a message if you need a consult call before you join to go over anything. I'd love to meet you that way as well. I'm sending you so much love, and I'll see you soon.